March were off almost 37% from last year's level. Also the second worst reading on this down cycle. Prices were off over 13% for the year, almost twice the previous record for this cycle. There are almost 10 months' worth of existing houses on the market based on the current sales pace, and 11 months of new houses. Neither is a record high, but both are close, and are close to twice their long-term average. In a phrase, the housing market is in the depths of a deep decline. So how much more of this is there to come? A lot of the sales and price measures are around the levels they reached at the bottom of earlier housing swoons, like those of the mid-70s, early 80s, and early 1990s. There are two things that are in company about this historical precedent, though. One is that the boom was so extreme and so without precedent that you might expect the bust to probe fresh negative territory. And the second is that even after what people on Wall Street sometimes call the momentum low, the point at which the percentage declines are at their maximum negatives, prices and sales can continue to decline, although at a slower rate. So again, based on historical precedents, it could be another year or two before the housing market truly turns around. That means further downward pressure on household finances and the broader economy. In other words, we're not done with this yet. The other week, economists at Goldman Sachs did an analysis based on the ratio of house prices to rents. House prices were way above rents during the boom and are only now correcting that excess. Their analysis suggests that we're only halfway through the bust. That seems about right to me. So count this as further evidence that we probably have another year or two of this to go. But where will another year or two of this take us? How badly will it ravage household finances, and how many millions will be bankrupted by it? How much damage will it do to the job market, and how much more financial fallout will there be? I have to say, though, that the failure of the stock market to collapse is one piece of evidence that things aren't going straight to hell. That's a sharp contrast with the deep recessions of the mid-70s and early 80s, not to mention the depression of the 1930s. Though the stock market is often untethered from reality, its long-term trend is an important measure of the financial system's liquidity and the general state of bourgeois confidence. So putting all this together, I'm sticking with my prediction that we're facing tough economic times, but not Armageddon. While many are worried about the economic implosion in the U.S., much of the rest of the world is experiencing anything but that. Asia is booming and inflation is rising around the Pacific Rim. Australia, Singapore, and China are all seeing some of their highest inflation rates in a long time. The driving forces remain, as I've been pointing out here for a long time, rising costs of energy and food. Always on the lookout for an opportunity to make money, speculators are buying up farmland and driving its price up around the world. This could have the truly perverse effect of driving food prices up even higher than they would be otherwise, and driving even more of the world's poor to the brink of starvation. Higher energy prices could have a beneficial effect, encouraging us to use less of it and thereby help postpone the date of climate catastrophe. While there are quite a few Americans who can do with eating less, raising the price of food is a very risky way to accomplish that goal, since it quite literally could doom millions to death by starvation. And unless your name is Malta, that's horrible.